Every year at Exposure, our scholarship winners become pretty well known, especially amongst the photographers we have here, and especially since they're all trying their hardest to do their best to impress people, to show their work, to get as much out of this experience as they can. Last year, you may remember, this is Linus on the end, Ali, Steph, and Ranita, and Dom. And Ranita, I think many of you may remember. She was this young lady from India, came to Sharjah with a portfolio that she'd shot on a borrowed camera. She's from a small town outside Calcutta. And she'd shot a very beautifully intimate and subtle portrait of her younger her younger brother, in a ceremony that he was going through. And a lot of people fell quite in love with her and her photography. And she's been on a bit of a roller coaster ride since. Just to update you, it all started when Sir Don McCullin, who's been a regular at Exposure for many years, saw her work and decided to comment on it publicly, which is probably something akin to a golden handshake, I would say, in photography. As a result, we have headlines like "Indian girl hailed photography prodigy after winning award," which was very fortunate for her. As a result, the New York Times offered her a chance to come out to New York for the portfolio reviews. She had her work published in the Lens blog, and there are a number of photographers here in the audience who know very well. Some of you fortunately started a GoFundMe campaign for her to pay for her trip out to New York. When she came back, believe it or not, she was offered a job at Reuters. So no one can ever tell me that these kind of projects don't change lives. She's now what we call a stringer at Reuters in India. Stringers are local photographers shooting local stories, which the agencies then put out into the wider world. And quite a meteoric rise. And the icing on the cake, actually, was just before I left to come here, about 2 weeks ago, I got a little email from her. And she's been offered a scholarship with Seven, the agency Seven, which is possibly the premier photo journalistic agency in the world. So she's off back out to New York for that. So, you know, absolutely phenomenal.